You always gotta watch the mans in your circle that's always going extra hard. He's usually the snake. I came from uptown, way uptown. I came from uptown, way uptown. I came from uptown, way. Ayy. So, I checked out Judas and the Black Messiah. It's a powerful documentary about Fred Hampton and the betrayal that led to his demise. It was directed by Shaka King, so shout out to him. Dope film. At the start of the film, FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover calls Fred Hampton a dangerous threat, and he wants to prevent the rise of a black messiah who will incite violence and empower other left-wing movements. FBI agent Roy Mitchell, he recruits William O'Neill, a young thief who agrees to work as an informant to avoid jail time. O'Neill, he infiltrated the Black Panthers in Chicago to help the FBI take them down using their COINTELPRO tactics to disrupt and destroy the Panthers internally. The police initially put out statements about the raid that led to Fred Hampton's death. They said it happened while they were executing a search warrant at about 4:30 a.m. for weapons and explosives they claimed the Panthers had stashed. The police claimed the Panthers fired on the officers, and that's what led to 2 people being killed and 4 people wounded. The survivors of the raid, including Fred Hampton's pregnant fiancée, Deborah Johnson, exposed what really went down at the time. And I think the movie was on point. Police armed with shotguns and rifles fired on the sleeping Black Panther members. The police sprayed about 99 shots through doors, walls, and windows, while someone on the inside only fired once. Deborah Johnson testified that officers at the raid pulled Fred from his bed and shot him dead after they surrendered. The raid was a cover-up for Fred Hampton's cold-blooded assassination by the police who wanted to snuff out the Black Panthers' leadership. William O'Neill, he exposed the group's inner workings and the floor plans for Fred Hampton's apartment to the police that they used for the raid. He even went to the extent to give Fred a sedative that prevented him from waking up while all the shots were being fired during the raid. An FBI whistleblower exposed later on that the FBI had set the police up across the country, including in Chicago, to clash with the Panthers that they knew were strapped up heavy because they wanted them dead. A federal judge approved the settlement that awarded $1.85 million to the survivors of the raid and the families of the 2 men that were killed. 12 officers that were present at that raid were indicted, but they were later acquitted. Even though Fred Hampton was only 21, he was named chairman of the Illinois Black Panthers and deputy chairman of the National Party. He was a talented speaker that understood the struggles of Black Americans and poor people. When he spoke, people listened. That's why, as seen in the film, he was able to reach out to local gangs and poor white people in order to form the Rainbow Coalition. He understood the power was with the people, and together they could demand change. The people saw inspiration in Fred Hampton, but the FBI under President Nixon saw him and the Black Panthers as the greatest threat to their country's security. Daniel Kaluuya was dope as Fred Hampton. He gave a believable performance. He was able to showcase how Fred Hampton's gift to inspire others made him so respected. But Fred Hampton was only 18 when he started running the streets with William O'Neill, who was 17 at the time. Can y'all imagine if they had younger actors played these roles, the movie would have hit so much harder. Fred was a youngin' that was way ahead of his time, and William O'Neill was essentially a kid that got peer pressured by the police into a bad situation that he couldn't back out of. William O'Neill was played by LaKeith Stanfield. He definitely played his role the best. I would have been fooled too if I was a Panther by his performance. If the real O'Neill was that good of an actor, I could see how he was able to play the Panthers and gain their trust. He always went all the way in whenever they were discussing rats, and even tried to put suspicion on other Panthers. He even tried to get them to do things they wouldn't have done just to throw them off his trail. I'm glad they added those scenes, because that's how you tell who the rat or the snake is in your circle. It's always the dude who's going extra hard. Watch that sucker, because later on, he's gonna go extra hard on the snitching on you. The Black Panthers had chapters all over the states that demanded for the freedom of Black Americans and organized patrols to challenge police brutality. They also set up medical clinics in low-income communities and even held breakfast programs for children. The movie's called Judas and the Black Messiah because if y'all remember the story of Jesus, he was betrayed by Judas, his close friend, for money. But Judas, he later on committed suicide because he couldn't live with the guilt of his actions. And William O'Neill, he pulled a Judas. He betrayed Fred Hampton for money, and then later on literally committed suicide because the guilt was eating him alive. This film did a dope job showing the militant structure of the Panthers and how they were fully down to get it cracking with the police, as we seen in that shootout. I gotta give this one 5 mics. The story was on point. The characters played their roles well. It's hard to believe this was a real story, man. Let me know what y'all thought about Judas and the Black Messiah in the comments below. It's free for y'all to support the channel by hitting that like button and subscribing too, so make sure y'all do that. And I'm gonna get up with y'all in the next video, alright? Holla at me. I came from uptown, way uptown. I came from uptown, way uptown. I came from uptown, way